think we're going. I think we're set up here, but I don't even know anymore what's going on here. Let's see if I click on this or live scene. It says 0 viewers, so that's not good.
Susan's on.
Sue, Susan's in. That's Clee's sister. Here we go. Howdy do, folks. Raymond the Amish Comic here, trying to make Tuesdays suck less. And I should start with myself, because my Tuesday is sucking batshit balls. The lovely Mrs. Comic is here in the house, hanging out with you in the chat. I am in a very bad mood. It's been such an odd day. The month of March is typically really fantastic for me for stand-up comedy. This year's it was very sketchy, and I just had something Saturday. Crazy shit. I was supposed to be at the Double Barrel Roadhouse in Red Lion, PA. Nice venue, I guess. I don't know. I've never been there. Um, they want to reschedule me from Saturday night to April 27th, which normally launches me over the cuckoo's nest. But I thought, what the fuck me in a bucket of goo. I'll do that. So 20 minutes after that, they said, "Oh, that's a bad date because we moved up our grand reopening." Well, why did they fucking give me the date? So all this has been happening just now. I'm completely unstable. I'm freaking out. I'm losing my mind. I'm going to be scrambling for work in March. I can tell you that. Mrs. Comic here doesn't know that we're in a state of panic. We're not really, but it's funnier for the live stream. Something shit'll work itself out. Earlier in the day, somebody called me up from way back when, and I'm doing a casino show. It's Shippens Parks Casino. It's Shippensburg. That's new, but that's not till June. So there's good news over there, and then bad news over there. I don't know what the fuck's going on with this Double Barrel Roadhouse. That's weird. It's weird shit to move a show that's Saturday night without really saying why. Email came in. Let's reschedule for April 27th. Old me would have went fucking nuts. New me said okay. Then the date got dicked. So that's why old me was saying that's why you go fucking nuts when people say we want to move the show. So who the fuck knows what's going to happen there? But anyway, so got completely unprepared. This shit's been going on. This is going to be a me therapy session. Okay, so February 12th, I was at a fire hall show. I think a fire hall show. Way the fuck out somewhere. I don't know where. They bounced a check on me for $1,200, and that still is not sorted out yet. And the thing, I've been there, done that. When you bounce a check, and you know you're gonna bounce it, then you're just being a dick. But if it bounces accidentally, then there's panic, and by the time anyone figures out that the thing bounced, the money that wasn't there that caused it to bounce is now magically there, and so the people who bounced the check go, "Well, the money should be in there." Yeah, it should be in there, but it's not in there. So you can see how unstable I am right now. I got bounce checks still sorting that shit out. I've got this canceled show shit, and I would not. And I have another friend who has a chemical company, and he's getting an offer to possibly be bought out. And I said, if I could be bought out and retire, I'd do it in a fucking heartbeat, because this shit is just fucking driving me postal. Susie, please, sister Susie, no connection there. Postal Susie's just a phrase that pays. So I will settle down and get myself into this show one way or the next. I almost didn't live stream, and I got fucking the internet here has been shaky, so that's weird. Trying to set some of this shit up. And another show that wants video clips to promote the show that is the following weekend. So sooner or later I'll settle down, but let's get down to some silly stuff here. Okay, so last Saturday was this. When I travel from the Lehigh Valley area towards State College, there's an area that would be north of Harrisburg and somewhere like Selins Grove out in that neighborhood. But there's a lot of different territory there. And coming up along the water, I've talked about this before, there is what I call an Amish stripper sheets. On this strip that goes along the water, there are, excuse me, I'm having a burping night. There's like 2 strip clubs, 2 massage parlors, a tattoo parlor, a Subway, and an Amish stripper sheets. There's always Amish in there. There's never any buggies in the lot. But when you're going up this stretch of highway, this is absolutely quite fascinating. They have, I've talked about this before, but there you have it. Pennsylvania has its own Statue of Liberty. It is small, and you can't even really hardly see it over the rail. There's no scenic lookout point. I got lucky on guessing where I thought it was and just holding the phone up and clicking it while I drove. I promise you, I didn't even look to make this picture. I got lucky, so I snapped that fucker right there. Um, so that still melts my brain. That melts my brain right there. So that was fun, and then that show was that was a fun show. But again, my contract says you've got to have a clear sound system, which seems to be common sense. But and there's I even have warnings, like if they're going to use a DJ that they do for weddings and shit, they can't have the music how DJs have it, where here's a DJ and a big speaker there and a big speaker there, and it's really fucking loud in the front of the room, and the back of the room is where people go if they don't want to dance and hear the music. That's what they fucking had. But this was kind of even a teeny little bit worse. We fixed it though. We did fix it, and I didn't go postal Susie, as it were, for this event, but the DJ was sitting on stage, and he had a little wall, and his wife there in the controls. Actually, the sound was pretty good, except that I was set up in front of where the speakers were, and the feedback was fucking unbearable. It was ear piercing. It was absolutely ear piercing. I knew we were going to have to solve this problem. So the guy kept giving me different microphones, and it's very diplomatic. I was very proud of myself, and then I finally, after like the third microphone, I said, "It's actually not a problem with the microphone. It is a problem with the speakers being right behind the microphone. Any microphone that you hand me is going to go ooh and pierce and fucking pop and go fucking nuts." So I did an experiment. I actually sat on the stage, which is only this far off the ground, so I would be lower than the speaker's feedback, and I was correct. It could sound fantastic right there. So, but now I'm sitting on the floor, and people can't really see me unless they're in the front row, and the tables and all the people in the back couldn't see me. So I knew that was a problem. So my first solution was to have everybody just sit on the floor with me. That did not go over well at all. People decided they were not going to sit on the floor. So then I had to go with option B, which was to convince the DJ that we had to take the speakers from right behind me and try to push them in front of me a teeny tiny little bit. He didn't have much cord. He didn't have much speaker cord, because why the fuck would he? So we were pushing those fuckers as far away from me and as front as we could. And then a big killer biker guy, probably looked like King Kong Bundy. When those speakers came up, he said, "Oh, great, now here in the front, we're going to get blown out." I'm there. "Yes, well, that's the best option. When I said we could all sit on the floor, you didn't fucking try to help me get people to sit on the floor. So now we got to blow your fucking ears out. So I'm sorry that this is inconvenient for you. So you could move to another part of the room, or we could put everything back and try to convince all these people to sit on the fucking floor." So I haven't been that stable really for a while. Now that was a really far drive. Um, Damn near almost 200 miles one way. So till I get back at whatever o'clock it is in the morning, I'm beat, I'm tired, but I'm also awake. And then the cats are quite demanding. They want some stuff going on. And then um, I thought this might happen. Our amazing daughter and her partner got a house about a year and a half ago now, I think it is. and we got back to painting, and it's she's very daring with her colors. I gotta show you this. I don't think she'll mind. So Sunday, Mrs. Comic and I went, and that's the green room right there. That's wet. So all that shiny, cool shit there, that disappears. I would have never picked a green room. I would have never picked that. That's badass. So we did that all day. Sunday, I was in a tired coma. Mrs. Comic uh, volunteered to paint the closets, which really sucked because you got to really creak around in there and move and weave and bob and all that. So we actually have aches and pains from painting uh, Sunday. And what was fun about that is when I come off a day of far travel and fun show, I don't have a brain, and I refer to it as quadruple, triple, triple, stupid day, where I'm feeling good, triumphantly exhausted, I think is the phrase I like to use. So I knew painting on this day was going to be a little bit tough on me, but not that tough. So we started later on in the day, and then Mrs. Comic got some coffee and put it in this Yeti mug, which was an amazing Christmas gift. Mrs. Comic and I got these like 2 years ago from our daughter, Dr. Jyoti, and her husband, Al. And so I was sure that I had mine to go. And we were going to pick up some breakfast at Starbucks, which kind of fucked up to have coffee and then be going to Starbucks and pick up a drink for our daughter and head on over to get some painting done. Once we got in the car and 2 blocks down the street, I said, fuck me in a bucket of goo. I forgot my coffee and I'm not going back because we're going to Starbucks and just fucking get coffee there, and then this just becomes a non-issue. So now we moved a lot of shit from the back seat of the car to the way back of the car in case we were going to be taking our daughter anywhere possibly to get paint. I wound up going for paint by myself, so it was a non-issue. But if you throw shit around in the back of a car, shirts, bags, whatever the fuck you got back there, ice scrapers, sometimes it clanks around if you didn't set it where it belonged. And I heard this big fucking clank right when we started. I'm there. When we get to a place where we can stop this car, I got to go back there and see what the fuck's flying all around there. And Mrs. Comic said, I'm not certain it's inside the car. I think it might be outside the car. Well, that's good and also worse if a hunk of car is flying around, flopping around in the wind. So that sound just kind of went away. It was just like, well, a one fa-voomp sound, and we didn't know what the fuck happened. So now we went to Starbucks, then that's down right outside of Mason. Then we drove Route 78 to Bethlehem to our daughter's house, and then I had to go get paint. We could have all gone, but I said, you guys stay and play with the cat, and I'll go get the paint. So then I went and I drove from our daughter's house to a Lowe's in Bethlehem, get the paint, then back to our daughter's house, and then we painted all day. And we were zombies at night, and we came back in dark, in the cold. Route 78 is always a big fucking nightmare. And when we pulled in front of the house, and I opened the door to get out, I saw this on the roof of the Subaru. I'll be a son of a bitch. I should have had that as a picture to show you. And this fucker, basically, I'm taking a credit for being a very smooth driver because this thing drove from Emmaus to Bethlehem to a store in Bethlehem and back to the house in Bethlehem, back to Emmaus on Route 78, and it didn't fly off the car. I could have killed someone with either earlier in the day a hot cup of coffee flying off to kill someone, or possibly a cold cup of coffee. This thing would have whacked him in the head. The moral of the story is I don't really have that much of a brain on quadruple, triple, stupid day. And that's a miracle that this thing fucking still exists. So that's pretty badass there. That was fun. We laughed about it, but it was still kind of weird. It also explained the mysterious noise that we heard go vroom, vroom, and Mrs. Comic correctly guessing that it was outside of the car. So that's one of those fun things in life that happens. and I was making notes for tonight's live stream before all fucking hell broke loose here on this show of my life. Well, let me go through my notes here a teeny tiny little bit. Here, I have nothing exciting to tell you in the book club world just yet. We were also going to do a segment. Uh, our daughter sends Mrs. Comic fun cat TikToks. Mrs. Comic finds fun cat TikToks and other kind of cool, really like kind of cool information stuff that's helpful. Like she found a TikTok that the Apple iOS update 17.3 lights certain iPhones on fire, mine in particular. So I did not take that update. And then she had another one, which I think she sent me, but I didn't really get a chance to look at it. It was a whole thing that I didn't know existed. Um, some people do not have what they call internal dialogue. I have the opposite. It's been well documented that I have an idea hallway with a bunch of closets, and there's trolls sitting in the closets, and they have poster board and sharpies, and we all see the same shit, and they write stupid shit down. Some of the trolls are helpful, some of them dick with me, some of them have a fucking clue, and they wave the signs at whatever we're all seeing, and I have to decode what the best information is here. I cannot shut that off. I don't pretend that I'm any smarter than anybody else, but I cannot fucking turn my brain off. Some people do not have an internal dialogue, and I can't even for the life of me process how they live. I'm almost jealous. If I could sit here and have a stupid, clear hallway, but especially at night when I want to wind down for the night and sleep, and I'm tired, and the cat's not chewing on my ankle, I have my best shot at falling asleep. 9 times out of 10, the trolls will start writing comedy for me when I'm almost fucking asleep, and I gotta write it down or it'll be fucking gone. It'll be fucking gone. So I don't know whether you have an internal dialogue or not. I can't even imagine that anybody did not have internal dialogue. If you don't have one, I'm happy for you and also sad, a little jealous, but also not. Um, because I'm not that smart with all the ideas in my head. If all of them just fucking went away, can't even imagine how that would happen at all. So the next thing that I want to babble about is our downstairs cat Mary and our upstairs cat Caesar both have problems with my pajamas. Mary will not sit on my lap if I am wearing classic pajama material. And I don't know if she gets stuck in them. Hey, Higgins is in the house. Hey, you peckerhead. Um, so I, I'm, I mean, I got a lot of comfortable pants, so I just don't wear fucking normal pajama pants. I won't get rid of them because I have some with marijuana leaves on them. I have Pink Floyd pajamas. I'm keeping those, but I can't hardly ever fucking wear them. Now, some of my other comfortable pants I can't wear because they're kind of baggy and they have strings. Them big baggy yoga pants, whatever the hell they're called. Caesar upstairs can't see the strings and start attacking and going nuts and actually trying to tunnel into too much material. So oftentimes I have just like really kind of stretchy. They're almost eating jeans. They're like stretchy sweatpants jeans, and I just say, "Fuck it, I'm just going to sleep with my." It's not the same pants I wear all day, but I'll put on my sleeping pants. Right, that's what I'll do for the night shift. And sometimes I put them on too early, and then we might run around. They're good enough to run around and go outside or something. So I could wind up with change in my pockets or something. And then when I roll around in bed, I the reason I wear suspenders all week long is that I haven't found a belt that can hold my pants up. I basically lost my ass. Higgins, I don't know if you lost your ass, but I think it's like a old white man disease where we get to an age when we lose our ass, and we're not necessarily even skinny. It's just our ass is no longer has the ability to hold up our pants, and so I draw the line at wearing suspenders to bed. And besides that, Caesar would lose his fucking mind. There's no possible way that this would pass the cat toy test. And so in the course of rolling around, my pants will fall down overnight. It's nothing slutty about it. It's just they go. My ass will be hanging out, and if I'm tired, it's so be it. And if I on such occasions where there was things in my pocket, mostly it would be change. Possibly that rolls out of my pocket, and I could roll onto a cold quarter, and that could be horrible too. And a couple of days ago, when I woke up, Mrs. Comic woke up before me, and she said, "Did I know there were 2 quarters on my ass?" No, I did not. But that explains a dream that I had where I was a low budget man hooker. I only charged 50 cents a throw to get in there. But that explains the quarters on my ass, kind of, sort of. So that's some really fucked up shit. Now when I go to bed, I gotta make sure the pants are up and there's no quarters that could be found on my ass. And also, if you want to make sure nobody steals your quarters, just store them on your ass. And I think when anybody says, "Hey, can I borrow a quarter?" Yes, I have one on my ass. That'll be fine. Which also reminds me of a silly thing that happened years ago. Um, this head here, and then Frank, who's not in the chat here tonight, friend from the Clee days. I can't even tell you why I had this. I had a quarter in my hand. We were going out to Chi-Chi's, Mrs. Comic and I, Frank, maybe he had some with him, I don't know. I had a quarter in my hand for reasons I could not tell you. People from way across the room were excited. Raymond's here, Yahoo! So I gave them a wave back, and the quarter fell out of my hand and landed straight on the top of my head. And so they were clapping for me and cheering. They were really excited to see me. So I knew this quarter was on the top of my head. So I pretended like I was going to do a magic trick, nothing up my sleeve, and I pulled a quarter right off the top of my head, and I got magician magic quarter applause right there. And that's you see how the trolls in my idea hallway work. And there most definitely is a fucking internal dialogue in there that I can't shut it the fuck off because everything is related to every other thing, and it's just mostly it's a good thing, but sometimes it's not so good. Now, let's get back to a part of me traveling out to the Statue of Liberty this time of year. Anyone who lives in the Lehigh Valley and ever has to drive 78 west this time of year from 4:30 in the afternoon till sunset, when it's really crisp sun, especially if there's no clouds out, you will see that the way they designed that highway, they designed it before the days of sun, because the sun fucking sits right on that fucking highway. You basically are driving blind into a sun stare, and you're just going by sound. You're almost going by the fucking Braille method. So I get that's the reward you get to see if you survive sun stare, the winter 78 West Drive. You're rewarded by seeing the little Statue of Liberty. So if you're going that way this time of year, there's no amount of sunglasses. You do your sunglasses, the visor comes down, and you still got to do this and that shit. I don't know if that falls into the category of distracted driving, but it falls into the category of you got to do some shit that you wouldn't normally do to make sure you can drive without fucking everything up. So there's that. Again, I've all week long, I make notes. I go, oh, this will be fun for the live stream. I'm Mrs. Comic go, oh, that'll be a fun story for the live stream. And so I accumulate what I believe is way too many stories. And now here we sit today. I can't think of a fucking one of them.
Did you make notes about Randy's new kitty cat picture?
Oh, that's right. That's right. I got to make notes. There's a new cat in town coming in. Heidi, our family, our nephew and his wife, the couple that got married in Ireland that saved cats, came and helped build the contraption to save Caesar. They got a new one, Heidi. Now, Caesar is big, strong, rough. He's so adorable, but check this shit out. All right. So that's Caesar right there. He's really sweet, but also scary. And he's actually a really fucking big cat, when he sits on your lap, you know something is on your lap. So also if he something that looks like that and doesn't like my pajamas, he wins. So I pick pajamas that make Caesar happy. The point is that, excuse me, I got a burp. Excuse me. So the saved cat rotation is that basically you don't order them. It's just whatever happens, happens. Our daughter and her partner got our grandson Hank. He's the most adorable cat. They win at getting cat. We love Caesar, but he's a big, fucking adorable handful. The new one is teeny tiny little. So we got the big one, and the next one on the block. Next week we'll have pictures of Heidi. I don't know if one of the problems with saving cats is you just kind of fall in love with them. That's why I mostly try to save freakish cats that I couldn't possibly fall in love with. Like Bearcat is like pretty much like the aqualung of cats out there, and it doesn't really want a family, it doesn't want a home or nothing. So we'll have some pictures of Heidi next week. I'd be surprised if they don't keep Heidi.
I don't know. They have a lot of cats.
They do. They have a lot of cats. They also have another cat, uh, Henrietta. And that's why we have Caesar, because they really loved Caesar. They didn't have any big, strong, young, athletic cats. Um, they have an assortment of completely amazing cats. But Henrietta decides if other cats can live there or not. And Henrietta did not really care for Caesar at all. In fact, when uh, we found a home for Caesar, and then he bailed out. So part of the deal was we had to go get him. It was our turn, and Henrietta went and they filmed it. Henrietta went all around the house to different places Caesar liked to be to make sure he was fucking out of there. So if Heidi's gonna stay in that cat house, Henrietta will have to stamp, and I don't know if that's gonna happen or not. So there's that shit going on. I was making some notes here about some other things too. I'm so far behind on trying to write stories for my eventual book because of like this show getting fucking canceled Saturday. That's a whole fucking thing to have to do. Bounce check. That's another fucking thing. It's kind of weird too. Back to the bounce check thing is that I don't really write many checks these days. I pay things online, a couple of checks that I write. So, new bounce a check, the process by which everybody finds out about that is really, really fucking slow. I just noticed my account balance was lower than it should be, and I thought, man, I must be drinking more expensive bourbon in my sleep bourboning, and I don't know it. Then the trail up went all the way back, found out this thing had fucking bounced. The having to call someone and tell them that they bounced a check on you is not really anything that I'm comfortable with. It's really a completely awkward thing. So I called them up, and now my local bank here is they're very automated. There's some things about them I love. They got rid of like deposit slips and all that shit. You just zip your card and you hand them money, and then that's how things fly there. But the process by which this thing happened, so I went in there and they had a copy of the bad check that they said was going to be getting mailed to me, and that copy I could bring it back in and redeposit it. That's what they said I could do, or have the people send another check. Now, where the check bounced from was a town where there's two guys in charge of the fire hall in a town where they don't really have much good internet. That you have to stand in line to get to the spot in the town that has internet. So I thought I'll just try my luck with the bank. So I wanted to know where the bad check was. And one lady was giving me attitude. She said, well, it's in the back, but you can't have it. I said, well, I don't want it, but I just want to know where it is. So it's back there. So turns out I wasn't even allowed to see it. And so they said they could make a copy of the check that I'm not allowed to see, so I would have it for my records, and that the check would be sent to me, a more official check, a more official copy of this bounce check And when I got that, I could bring it back in. And so that was taking too long to come. Then I went down to the bank and I pissed them on. They said, "Oh, that comes from Ohio." How did I not fucking know that? How did I not fucking know that a bounce check here in Emmaus has to go and be sent to fucking Ohio and then back to me? How did I fucking know that? So the copy they gave me was just like a Xerox copy, and I had it. And the official check for redeposit looked exactly like the fucking copy of the check that I wasn't allowed to see or touch or have. And I didn't think it was the right one because that came from New York. And they said my official one was coming from Ohio. So I went and took my next check in person because I want to fucking go through this again. And I said I didn't get the deposit copy yet, but I got this, which I know to be worthless because you guys made a copy of the check for me and said for my records, but it's basically worthless. And I just basically got this worthless copy sent to me from New York, and they said, "Oh no, that's it." I don't know why the fuck they couldn't just copy it and fucking hand it to me. There was no fucking difference between these things. So now, because it bounced once, the clearing time on that is probably going to be like Labor Day, and then we have this bullshit Saturday. I'm going to be probably streaming a lot, but I'm going to be really fucking begging for money. I will actually be insistent upon getting some money. So there's that going on. I wouldn't wish show business life on anybody unless you if you really fucking hit it, you're really gonna hit it. So now, uh, oh, story about another comedian here. Hang on. My daughter's partner likes Patton Oswalt, and I like him a little bit. I don't love him. I haven't really seen him that much to actually know too much about his comedy. Although he's in the Sparks rock band documentary, so he got a couple of brownie points from me there. And so Saturday night, while I'm out enjoying the little Statue of Liberty, they went up to New York to see Patton Oswalt at a winery, and she sent me a picture that I don't know how they decided where you sit, but it was really a cool little like a cabaret style room, and he wasn't out yet, but the stool was there and the microphone, and they were like fucking like here, and he was gonna be right there, and I'm like, that's badass seats. So you're gonna have a wonderful night, and you'll be home way before me. So the story unfolds later on at midnight when I came back past the little Statue of Liberty and stopped off at the Stripper Sheets for my final pit stop before I make the final 2 hour ride home. Our daughter said he they were in the exact front section, and he was going almost one by one asking people what they do for a living, and nothing really happened. He didn't really find a person who had an interesting job, and she said she couldn't wait for him to get to her because she works at a medical marijuana dispensary. That's a fucking comedian's dream come true, because it's always the same old stuff. People's jobs are basically boring for the most part. Not to insult people, but unless you're playing in a rock band or sports or the entertainment world, you have a job that is probably not really all that funny in the scope of things. He just didn't ask her. So I tweeted at Patton Oswalt and I said my daughter and her partner were at the winery show last night. They were sitting in the very front. She said you were asking people what they did for a living for reasons that none of us know. You did not ask her, and she works at a medical marijuana dispensary. And as a comedian myself, I just like to say, you missed one there. You just missed one. And Patton Oswalt actually really he loved that and he hit it with a heart. So what's cool about that is he's like 4 million followers. So that's my credit. Even though I got a show canceled Saturday night, a famous comedian with 4 million followers hearted one of my tweets, kind of sort of mocking him that you blew it and that gets me wondering too. Like if now will he think about somebody in there that job might be medical marijuana or marijuana industry. It might push him that way, or if he's nuts like me and OCD's the fuck out of it, wonder who the fuck had amazing jobs over me doing this, and I just somehow missed them. So there's that. No real excitement there, but that's my Patton Oswalt story. And then, oddly enough, we were painting the green room the next day. That's mildly connected to show business green room stuff there. Um, so we have all that going on, and then uh, boo. I know I made some more notes. Mrs. Comic said, "Oh, we'll remember that." That's a big mistake when I say, "Oh, that's too good. I know I'll remember it." And now here I sit, and I don't remember it. So I'm going to leaf through here. Mrs. Comic, again, she's going to have to send me a TikTok next week about maybe this internal dialogue. Seriously, I didn't. It's kind of like polite language for people. You know, some people's minds are completely blank, and then there's a meditation too where somebody as nuts as me, you would go there and try to achieve that. So they live in a constant state of meditation, which is possibly relaxing, but if you live that 24 hours a day, it's also borderline kind of stupid. So I don't know if we're going to go with that or not. Um, let's see. That's a problem with my uh, internal dialogue is that I know I'm a handful. I know I can get on people's nerves when I do guest sets on podcasts. The shows that love me basically get their introductions out of the way and they just turn me loose on their audience and I just fucking do what I'm doing now. So I just babble away like that. So I can't escape myself. So I mean, people when I get on their nerves, I feel bad about that, but they actually have the ability to get away from me. I do not have that same ability to escape myself. I am stuck with myself constantly. There's no escaping me. I can't go to a special room in the house and go, "Well, I'll never find me here," because I even if I'm there with my own thoughts, because it is my thoughts, I know exactly where I would fucking hide, and that's the first place I would look for me. So there's no, I feel your pain, but if I'm getting on your nerves, just know this: that at least you are blessed with the idea that you can fucking escape me. I cannot escape my own self. So there's that. Um,
The bank people did have fun though.
oh, what happened
The
there?
bank people had fun when you came.
Oh, the bank people, Mrs. Comic, was pointing out that I am full of myself. And the day that I went in to complain about the bounce check, I sort of wound up doing stand up comedy in the bank. So I think they got like a free stand up comedy show. Uh, Richter, I don't know if we can get the security tapes from the bank to upload that to my live stream show here, but they did. They got free comedy, but I actually wound up coming out of there feeling good, even though I had no money. So there's that. And let's see here. We got the cat TV. We got this. We got that. We got this. Higgins, I don't know if you were in last week or not, but I had a thing up about from Win the Barber, who gave me. He framed a lot of me memorabilia. So Skip gave me that. So that's kind of assholeish of me that I have my own framed memorabilia. And I have another friend who hasn't been here for a while, and they think I'm all stuck up and full of myself. When they see that, when they come here and they see that, I'm fucking dead. We're gonna have to hide that when Jane comes over, or she's gonna fucking rip me a new one. So there's that. Um, both our cats don't like pajamas. Oh, I know, because the trolls in the idea hallway. See, a lot of times they help me out because as I'm babbling away here to beat the band, um, it, they connect stories and all kinds of shit that I wasn't really even planning on. And one of the things that popped into my head that I forgot, I've told this story before, but uh, it's connected to a bunch of things that the trolls of my idea. See, show business is the cliche phrase is this will be your big break, and this will be your big break, and this will be your big break. My big breaks have always broke. My big break was going to be on MTV. I'm on MTV on a contest called Seven Up and Out, pre-internet, so you can't even fucking Google this. Seven Up did a contest called Seven Up and Out. It was back when MTV did music videos, and they started in California, and they seven of them, and they competitioned their way across to where Pauly Shore was a MTV video DJ in New Jersey. They were going to get to do their own show, kind of sort of with him, and the competition would drop. And then there were six, and then there were five, and then there were four. So when they contacted me to do this, I was very excited, and I just assume that I'm flying to Las Vegas or I'm going to Chicago or wherever the fuck I'm going. But no, I was going to meet them on the last couple legs of the tour when they're down to like three people in fucking uh, Carlisle, Pennsylvania, and then kind of thing where you you have to thank them and still can be a little bit disappointed on there. Oh, that's wonderful. I've always dreamed of never leaving Pennsylvania, and this will keep that going for a while again. So when that thing was filming too, and my pay for that was shitty. I got an MTV hat, I got an MTV watch, which I kept, which I thought would be worth millions of dollars now. It's really not worth about $7 now, so I'm not selling that. I've got who the hell else knows what I got on that, but I've got a T-shirt, and I was supposed to be there to film 2 days because I have my own life, my own show schedule. So it's going to be there filming Monday to get a hotel room. I'll be there Tuesday filming, and possibly that would be a wrap for me. So they were going to have a comedy competition in Carlisle, and I was going to be a teacher slash judge, which is kind of shitty because I'd be in charge of, and people voted. It really wasn't up to me, and somebody would stay behind, and the rest of them would fucking go. So now Monday, we had to shoot in the morning, and then they said, okay, and they're going over their list here, and they go, okay, Amish, we got you for Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and they list the whole thing. I'm like, that's fucking 5 days. No, I'm in 2 days, and then I'm fucking out of here. I mean, look, I really appreciate the hat and the watch, but it's not really a pay for a whole week. And they said, no, you don't understand. Uh, Monday morning from 8 to noon, we will shoot Monday and Tuesday, and then afternoon, Monday, we will shoot Wednesday and Thursday, and then tomorrow we'll shoot Friday. And so whenever they were going to click over to the next day, all the contestants and all the people involved with the show changed their clothing to make it look like the next day. And that's where I got to mock the fuck out of them. Some of us are dressed for all occasion wear. I'm good Monday through Friday, so all this stuff happens. So I forgot about that MTV's 7 Up and Out. Even if you Google it, it doesn't fucking come up because they don't really play music videos on I don't even know if MTV exists anymore, but they had music videos, and that was supposed to be a big break. Uh, Quiet! I better take a pill. That's my alarm. That's my alarm. It says I've done enough now. If I want to bail out, I can go. So, but then that connected me to other things that I thought were my big break. One of the things I thought was going to be my big break was uh, I I knew Jim Norton from the Opie and Anthony show before he hit it, and really nice guy. Well, we met him, Mrs. Comic and I, at the Club Casbah in Wildwood, New Jersey. It was shitty money, but I was there the whole week, and they gave us a room. So we get a room at not Atlantic City, Wildwood, Wildwood, New Jersey. And I would never pay to stay in Wildwood, New Jersey, but if I'm getting a free room for for the week, and our daughter was probably about 2 or 3 years old,
Mm-hmm.
so we had like a beach vacation. Um, that was also an illusion because we didn't have air conditioning in our room, and Jim Norton's room was invaded by bees, and so they actually had to go and get him a nice room in a hotel and pay for him to have a room there. So, but I got to be friends with Jim Norton, and in show business, you can't really take people along with you as you get famous, but it doesn't hurt to know people. So, he helped get me on the Opie and Anthony show back in the days before they got into too much trouble. I was very excited. This was going to be another one of my big breaks. So, and they're on the air in the morning. So I'm got 4 o'clock in the morning here. I drive up to New York to do a guest appearance on Opie and Anthony show. And Jim Norton was going to be there, and it was going to be more of a relaxing thing for me because I knew him. I didn't know the other Peckerheads, and it turns out Opie got his start in show business from the Bear Man, from WZZO. So there was another connection there that gave me a little bit more of a comfort zone. And as far as big breaks go, so here's the situation. Their show was big at the time, and it was professional, it was tight. They had scheduled guests and events happening throughout the whole thing. So what was happening was when I arrived there, I was supposed to go on around 8 o'clock in the morning, and they after the contest wrapped up, there was two knuckleheads in the studio that I couldn't see. I was out kind of like in the waiting room. I could see through the glass, but I couldn't hear what the hell was going on in there. They put Ben Gay on their balls to try to win PlayStation 2. That tells you how far along that is. So it turns out their ability to withstand burning Ben Gay balls to win this thing was far superior to anything that anybody had imagined. They thought they would just scream in ball burning terror at 8 o'clock and they'd be done, and the Amish guy would be in there. So it is now 9 o'clock, and the balls are still burning, and they're kind of having fun in there, and nobody's won the thing yet. And now it seems like one of them is ready to collapse, and they're pale. And they said, "Well, we don't want to get him water and shit because that would be cheating. So if you're gonna pass out and fucking die, well, if you leave to get the water, then you fucking lose." So now one of them is collapsing, and so now there's kind of like an award ceremony and congratulations and all that. So coming in to the studio waiting room unannounced, unannounced, was the rock band In Excess, who happened to have a reality TV show to find a new lead singer. And so they came in and they were rock stars, and they thought, well, we're rock stars, we're coming in to do you guys a favor, we're not fucking wait for nobody. So their manager was losing his fucking mind, and it's just me and In Excess and their manager in the waiting area in the lobby lounge or whatever the fuck it is. I actually chilled them the fuck down. I said, well, see, here's the thing. I was supposed to go on at 8 o'clock, but there's two peckerheads in there with Ben Gay on their balls, and he was really interested in the story. He said, and whoever passes out first, the other one wins the PlayStation 2. And apparently, they really underestimated the amount of time it would take for someone to collapse with Ben Gay on their balls, and so they're really running late behind schedule. I was supposed to go next. There's no way in hell that they're gonna make you guys wait and then have me go in afterwards. So that chilled them out, and they stayed, and they really liked me, and we kind of sort of all went in as a group together, and this was really cool. And so they shuffled things around, and I got to sit in a seat somehow in between Opie and Anthony that apparently nobody gets to sit in. So this was a seat of royalty, as Norton's over there, and In Excess rock stars are all over there, and the studio was really fucking full, and I still didn't really get to do anything on the air yet because there's all this fucking commotion. This is a big break. This is a big break for me. I'm gonna be on an Opie and Anthony show in New York, and my career's gonna fucking just spike. I won't ever have to put up with bullshit like assholes fucking canceling me in Red Lion, Pennsylvania, Saturday night on fucking Tuesday. Fuck me in a bucket of goo and give me a date in April and then fucking taking it away. I won't have to deal with any of that shit because this is my big break. And the singer, or the lead guy from that, didn't have a singer, the lead, whoever the hot shot was from In Excess, started doing jokes about having sex with sheep. That's my fucking territory. What are the odds that an Amish comedian who does sheep banging jokes is going to go to New York, Opie and Nancy show, Ben Gay on the balls, passing out, PlayStation 2, fuck you in a bucket of goo. Now I'm in there, now's my chance. And then the rock band comes in and starts doing sheep banging jokes. So I will tell you this big break. Fuck you in 2 buckets of big break goo. That's my show for the week. I love yous. I'm sorry to be such a miserable fuck, but we got some shit to sort out, and also the bounce check didn't even fucking clear yet. So there you go. It hasn't gotten so bad that I have to put Ben Gay on my balls to try to win a PlayStation 2, but I'm not completely ruling that out. I love you. Mrs. Comic loves you. We really appreciate you, Peckerheads. We mean that in a nice way. And that's pretty much it. That's a wrap. I'm going to leave you with this guy screaming Caesar, and that's it. And Higgins, you're a Peckerhead. Don't even think twice about that. Nighty night. We need another hour, Richter. Bullshit. What you might get, Richter, is you might get more live streams in a week than we normally would do, because now that actually won't help me forget that I've lost money this week, and that'll remind me that I'm not. But we might get an extra live stream out of me. How about that? So there we go. I'm doing a wrap right here. Let's do this. That's nothing right there. Dude, I'll leave you with this. That way, if you don't ever get up to see the Statue of Liberty or way out there to see the little one, there you go. Brought to you by Amish Comic.